NASCAR makes some big time procedural changes for 2023. Welcome back to the episode of Inside Lines. My name is Jet. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Let's first start off with stage racing, implemented in 2017 and has been controversial since the beginning. But a few months ago, there was a rumor/report going around that NASCAR is considering getting rid of stage cautions on the road courses. And Bob Parker's reports that has now been confirmed. NASCAR will get rid of stage cautions only on the road courses and the street race of Chicago. So what this means is that whenever there's a stage supposed to end, whenever stage one ends or a stage is about to end, they will throw the green and white checker flag, points will be awarded, but no caution, which finally, thank you. Now we need to do this on the ovals. If you're gonna have stage racing, fine. I don't like stage racing, but if you're gonna have it, get rid of the stage cautions. And I'm glad that NASCAR is doing that because I feel like stage racing has very much hurt the racing product of road courses because it takes away all the strategy, all the fun aspects about road course racing. And them now making the decision to get rid of stage cautions and letting the race naturally flow is great for NASCAR. I'm happy that they're finally making this change. But next time, we gotta do this on the ovals. Now, everyone remembers the Hail Melon at Martinsville when Ross Chastain made that probably the greatest pass in NASCAR history, riding the wall to knock his way into the championship four. Yeah, well, if you're gonna do that, get ready for a time penalty. NASCAR has basically banned. They haven't said you're not allowed to do it, but they basically have banned the move that from now on, anytime anyone tries to perform a move like what Ross Chastain did, riding the wall, they will now receive a time penalty. Which, let's be honest, as much as we love the move, and don't get me wrong, it was still an amazing move. You can't let that happen again because now you've opened the Pandora's box and now everybody, if they go to track like Martinsville or maybe Phoenix, those really short tracks that have, a lot of curves in the corners, you're now going to see what? 10, 12 drivers on the final lap just ride the wall. It's not safe. It's not a safe thing to do. And also it looks silly if you start seeing everybody ride the wall. It just looks dumb. So how about that? The Melon rule. We have to name some of it. The Melon rule, the Hail Melon rule, I don't know, but Ross Chastain basically created a rule. He is the first and only driver in NASCAR history to successfully make that move because anyone else that does it after him will just get penalized for it and they basically wouldn't gain anything. In fact, they'd probably lose positions. So congratulations, Chastain. But yeah, this was the right move for NASCAR. I know some don't like it, but in terms of the safety aspect and also to make the sport not look silly, you had to ban the move. It was the greatest move ever that cannot and should not happen again. It was a one and done type of thing that we just admire, but we can't not have that happen again in the future. Another change NASCAR is doing this year is how they penalize teams/drivers for losing wheels. Now, that has also been a controversial topic for a numerous amount of years where if you lose a tire, the crew chief and I think crew member, one more person, I could be wrong, are suspended for 4 races. I've always felt like this was extremely unfair considering the crew chief had nothing to do with this, like if you're gonna ban anyone, ban the guy that didn't get the tire on rightly. And also 4 races sounds a bit too extreme. Well, NASCAR's updated that. If you lose a wheel on pit road under yellow, you start at the rear end. If you lose a wheel on pit road under green, it's a pass-through penalty. A losing wheel beyond pit road is a 2-lap penalty, 2-race suspension for 2 crew members, and that is up to the series director. So a 2-lap penalty and you lose 2 crew members. I am okay on that. I think the 2-lap penalty is a bit much. It's a bit much, but I'm okay with that. I think that is a much more fair rule than last time where it was just straight up 4 races, doesn't matter. You lose a wheel, bam, 4 races, doesn't matter. I think it's a much more fair rule, especially with under yellow. All right, start the tail end, under green, pass through. That's fine. The 2-lap penalty, again, it's a bit severe, I think, in my opinion, but I think this is the right thing that NASCAR is doing. Because the rule still emphasizes that, hey, you better get your tires on correctly. You better not mess up. But also, it's not literally punching you when you're already down, except for the 2-lap penalty. But other than that, I'm okay with the rule. And NASCAR has also announced that the damaged vehicle policy will be increased from 6 minutes to 7 minutes in 2023, although it doesn't state what it would be like for the playoff races, because in the playoff races, it was 10 minutes. Now, I don't know if it's just for the regular season, the 7 minutes, or it's for, year round. We'll have to wait and see, but will be increased from 6 to 7 minutes. Also states here that toe links can be replaced on pit road, but control arms can't. We note, which I'm not surprised with toe links, since anytime a driver hit the wall with this next gen car, a toe link would always break. So it makes sense that, hey, you know, give them time to be able to make a change of a simple little toe link, which is, if you look at how to fix a toe link, it is easy to do. It doesn't take long to do, but again, you can only do so much when you're on pit road. And a toe link is an extremely vital part of a next gen car now, that banning it or saying you're not allowed to change it on pit road is kind of unfair. So NASCAR opening up a little bit, saying, hey, you can change it on pit road, the toe link, but not the control arm. Next up, these oval races will have rain tires available for the teams. IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Martinsville, Milwaukee, New Hampshire, North Wilkesboro, Phoenix, Richmond, not Dover or Bristol. But those cars must have a wiper motor, wipers themselves optional, and the rear lights for the races. Now this is kind of an update to NASCAR's emphasis on wanting to get oval rain racing involved. I mean, they announced that they were going to be doing some damp water testing, rain testing at Martinsville earlier in the year, I believe. They also did some more updates with Goodyear tires. They said that they were going to emphasize on trying to get oval racing in, especially on the flat racetracks, which I'm not surprised. I think flat racetracks, you can, if the water is not wet enough, like if it's pretty damp, if it's kind of damp, you can still have oval racing, but only on the flat track. So I'm not surprised listing out tracks like Martinsville, Milwaukee, Mount, New Hampshire, those very flat racetracks, you can have oval racing. Obviously, the bank tracks like Dover, Bristol, Charlotte, you can't have that. Another change NASCAR is doing is how they run the playoffs. Originally, the playoffs, if you want to make the playoffs, you had to do two things. Number one, win a race, and number two, be in the top 30 in points. That is now gone. NASCAR announced that they will eliminate the top 30 in the Cup Series and top 20 in the Xfinity Series rule. You just have to run all the races. You could be 38th in points, and if you run on all the races and win a race, you can advance to the championship. That is dumb. I don't know why, because again, we're making it easier and easier to make the playoffs. I'm sorry, but Corey LaJoie, for example, I think Corey LaJoie finished outside the top 30 in points. You really want a guy that's like 33rd, 34th in points to make the playoffs? Really? I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like every year the championship is just, the value of it's just getting worse and worse. And this is a perfect example of that. If you're going to have a championship battle, it should be 16 of the best. A guy that's 35th in points is not the best. He's the worst. Nothing to do with talent, just because of the car he's in. But I don't get it. Oh my God, Cody Ware. Imagine this. Cody Ware wins the Daytona 500. He's in the playoffs. Oh my God. Or BJ McLeod, he wins the Daytona 500. Guess what? He's in the playoffs. Oh my God. And finally, a quick little change on NASCAR's choose rule. They had this choose rule where you can basically pick your lane right before a restart. They had this on all racetracks except super speedways and dirt tracks. Well, for this year, they're now opening it up to super speedways and dirt races, which for Daytona, expect a lot of team orders. I can guarantee you there's going to be a ton of team orders, which should make for some interesting restarts, to say the least. I really don't care about this rule. I mean, I like the choose rule. I mean, if you're going to open up to all races, fine. Don't really care about that. And speaking of restarts, NASCAR has also announced that they will extend the restart zone by 50%, 25% in each direction for the first 5 races of the season. NASCAR will evaluate further changes after Atlanta. Okay, wow, that was a lot of updates to talk about. Again, some of these I really do like. I like the choose rule. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with NASCAR banning the Hail Melon, which I think that's the big one, as well as getting rid of stage cautions on road courses. Hopefully they can open up to getting rid of stage cautions altogether, since they serve zero purpose. But I like that change. As much as people love the Hail Melon, I love the Hail Melon, but you cannot have that happen again, because all it does is going to cause a bunch of chaos, and it's going to make the sport look silly. Again, imagine you have 15 drivers start riding the wall. It's going to look stupid, and it could potentially create a dangerous wreck. So it is, for safety reasons, I'm glad NASCAR is banning this rule. Some rules I don't like, the top 30 at the, again, I understand that if you're 35th in points, or if you run all the races, you're more than likely not going to be 35th in points. But still, again, we talk about that Pandora's box. You cannot, like, you never know. You never know. That's all I'm gonna say is you never know. Again, perfect example. I look at Corey LaJoie, nearly won Atlanta. He finished the season 31st in points. So again, I just don't like that rule. I do like the rule change on giving more time to be able to replace the tow link on the damaged vehicle policy, and I do like the change of them actually finally, you know, putting up a reasonable penalty. And I'm happy that they're putting up a reasonable penalty for losing a wheel instead of going, I feel like the old rule was overboard. This is a more relaxed, it's still a stern rule, but it's a more fair rule, which I'm happy about that. So some of the changes that NASCAR's done, I'm happy about. That one change about the top 30, not happy about that. But what are your thoughts on all of NASCAR's updates to how they proceed or how they conduct a race? What are some of the changes you like? What are some of the changes you don't like? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Until next time, my name is Jet from MDK. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. See you next time.